Yeah. Just be
Okay.
decently loud so the microphone can hear you.
Got it. I can be pretty loud. I'm an expert at that.
So,
I don't know if you guys know.
I wonder what character he's creating a costume for right now.
Yeah, I wonder... I mean, this will come out like months, years after. So, you know, it doesn't matter.
really bad at editing quickly.
Yeah, it's okay. Do we have enough space to download Destroy All Humans again since this game baller?
We're gonna be playing Destroy All Humans again because
Or are we gonna try?
I
we have enough
love Invader Zim.
download space.
And you love Invader Zim.
Jeez, it's gonna take forever. 11 minutes to download the game. I can't wait that long.
So I'm just gonna make him freak out by touching the...
No, please don't. Okay, so the reason I'm very rigid and stiff right now is because I just painted on the back half of the webs on the costume. So if I move, the paint might crack or like glob all over the place. So I'm trying to stay very still so that my webs painted on don't get messed up.
And I'm gonna...
Please don't do it! Don't do it! Don't ruin it! Do you know how long this took? You bastard. I also have my hair up in a ponytail right now because it's so long in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't see it, so it just looks like my hair is short in the... No, don't! No! Oh, God! Ah!
Now you get to see the horror that is his ponytail. Unless you're into ponytails, in which case...
Unless you're one of the chicks who's into that, then...
In which case, you're welcome.
You're trying to tell me the FBI is going to pay me to learn to surf?
Fear causes hesitation. Hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true.
We'll take you to the edge. Past it.
This is gonna be a great day, Johnny.
I think taxpayers would like it, Utah, if they knew that they were paying a federal agent to surf and pick up girls.
Babes.
Big one.
The correct term is babes, sir.
Adios, amigos!
Speaking of relationships, is a movie about...
movie about a man who wants to fuck the sea with a surfboard.
The movie about two men who are brought together in a
by their mutual love of
tempestuous
adrenaline.
relationship, by their mutual love of adrenaline seeking,
by their mutual love of
each
catching the ultimate ride, bruh.
Oh, and there's a girl in there too, but
there's also a girl, but they both have sex with her. Not at the same time, but at different intervals. Different intervals? Different intervals?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, whenever we talk about a touchy subject like sex, I turn into that teenage guy from The Simpsons. Oh boy, if I had a girlfriend, she'd kill me!
You are that teenage kid from The Simpsons.
That character, I really identify with.
Your dog is really...
Hi, Mello, that's my wiener dog. David, stop petting my wiener. Cut that out.
I'm not going to cut that out.
Edit that out.
That is too good to cut out. That is too good. I have to keep that.
I hate everything. I want to die. Oh, everything I do is a mistake.
Yeah.
So how are you?
So we watched Point Break.
We haven't painted the fingers yet. I got to do that. Because Miles Morales has the gloves that are like fingerless gloves, but instead of fingerless, they have like Spider-Man fingers.
So it's interesting to watch this movie because it came out in 1991.
Is it racist for me to wear this?
I will just say this. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
So I want to be a black guy?
Yeah.
Maybe then I'd finally be good at basketball. Because I'm not now.
Well, you'd be good at any sport at that point. You're not good at any sports right now. Well...
Are you making the generalization that black people are all good at sports?
I'm making the generalization that you aren't. Did you see him? Did you see him riding the bike in that sketch from the Arkham Knight review?
Okay,
He can't ride a bike!
Okay, put the clip up on screen right now of me struggling with the bike. Okay. things. The costumes all come from as well as angles, as well as the aircraft landings. The only way to make a costume is life. It was very hard to move. But then my legs because of boost. That bike was like 3 sizes too small, and it also been like several years since I would like this actual car built. So you're afraid of cars, you don't ride bikes. So do you just run silent
What do you do with your life if you don't go outside or drive or do something?
I go to school. I go to college.
Not a real college.
It's a film school. That
Films-
degree will totally be useful during a job interview at Walmart.
So let's talk about the movie. So we watched Point Break, which is, it's hard to explain.
A
but
forgettable film in which Keanu Reeves shoots at the sky.
he breaks his leg,
He attempts to kill Richard Nixon for mooning a camera.
and he
recognizes
has
a man's ass after seeing him moon him after...
and he stares deeply into the eyes of Patrick Swayze because
He stares deeply into Patrick Swayze's mullet.
and there's of course a lot of close-ups of
There's a lot of close-ups
sweaty,
of sweaty, shirtless dudes.
yeah.
There's
Blonde hair.
long blonde hair. There's a lot of uses of the word "brah." Catching the wave, bruh.
So
You
this
know?
is the. It's kind
It
of.
feels
funny.
like a movie written by Otto Mann from The Simpsons.
It was pretty hilarious.
Now I drive the bus.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Who wouldn't stare deeply into the eyes of Patrick Swayze? That's why he had a career.
I can't think of a single thing I remember him from other than Point Break.
He was in Ghost.
Oh yeah, that movie. There's one shot from that movie that people remember, and it's the one where they're doing the pottery on the spinning thing.
And
You
Whoopi
know?
Goldberg was in that. So let's talk about this
Whoopi
movie.
Goldberg is not a sign of quality. It's actually a detriment.
So are you saying that Star Trek is bad because it's got Whoopi Goldberg in it?
Yes, she plays fucking Guinan.
You
with
will
her
pay for that.
dumb dinner plate hat.
You will pay for
She
that.
shows up and is like, "I'm not the real Guinan. I'm only a ghost
Are you
of
going
Guinan."
to talk about Point Break or not? So let's talk about the plot of Point Break. So, Keanu Reeves plays Johnny Utah, which is the most early 90s name of all time.
Johnny Utah, bruh.
And Johnny Utah is a former football player, well, college football player.
Who broke his leg.
Who became an FBI
And then
agent.
became an FBI agent
And then
named
he's-
Norman Jaden.
And then he's assigned to Gary Busey, who's like a...
Nick Nolte, actually.
No, it's Gary Busey. It is Gary
Hey,
Busey.
wait a minute. That's not Gary Busey.
And then Gary Busey is this, like, sort of washed out has-been FBI agent, and he's assigned the impossible to crack case
Where
because
they have
nobody
to
else-
figure out who's been
Robbing
causing
banks.
trouble in L.A.
And this is the really hard case that nobody wants, so that's why they handed it to
Johnny Utah, because he's the new guy, and they're like, okay, you can find the Predator, Donnie Glover.
they have the old washout,
Danny
the old
Glover.
has-been, and the up-and-coming hotshot, and those two together are assigned to do this impossible
And they were put
case.
on the Punisher task force. There's actually some parallels to a lot of other things I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're referencing Point Break or were inspired by it,
Well, it's a
or if
cult
it's just
classic.
that generic.
So it's one of those early like 90s movies like what Top Gun sort of thing.
Where there's a lot of dudes on the beach without a shirt just doing sports and being masculine.
Yeah.
Hey, look, here's Scorpion. We're gonna fight Scorpion.
So it's a dudes and sports and planes
And hot babes on the beach, bro.
Yeah.
Catching a wave, tubular.
With black-haired lead actormans.
With and then a blonde-haired secret gay lover and/or antagonist.
Yeah. Both
yes.
at once. That's why he let him go at the end, because
He wanted to let him catch the final ultimate ride, bruh. And then he dies.
So this movie is
Spoiler.
this movie is directed by Catherine Bigelow, who you might recognize for directing such movies as Zero Dark 30, The Hurt Locker,
and other movies about men wrestling
The-
about
Detroit.
how much they like
Detroit.
each other. Detroit.
I haven't seen Detroit because I've heard it's very good, but it's just not my cup of tea. So I've seen Zero Dark 30, which was Jessica Chastain trying to hunt down Osama bin Laden, which I thought was a very good film.
Was it like this, but instead of...
It's very different from this film because...
Can you imagine if it was like this, but with, like, instead of Johnny Utah, it was like the actual... it was like a SEAL Team 6 guy?
It's weird because Point Break has become the redheaded stepchild of Catherine Bigelow's filmography in retrospect, because although it has a lot of Catherine Bigelow's hallmarks, like a lot of handheld photography and a lot of sort of gritty realism, but it's become the redheaded stepchild because it's the only, like, non-really...
What's wrong with people with red hair?
It's a phrase. It's not, because this movie is
Are you a racist?
Stop it. Stop it. I'm trying to make a point, and I'm not going to have you distract me.
Okay.
So, this is the weirdest one of the filmography because it's the most straightforward, just action movie, versus something like Zero Dark 30, The Hurt Locker, or Detroit, where it's about something more than just fighting and surfing and all that. And I get that there's deeper messages and deeper themes to this movie, but it's a lot more underplayed in this one versus, realistic, gritty dramas.
I do think that this one, considering the premise and how dumb it could have been, was very toned down.
That's what I think is what Catherine Bigelow brought to this movie, is that she has a very documentarian style of filmmaking where she does a lot of handheld, a lot of close-ups.
Like, the dialogue was really cheesy and stupid sounding.
Oh, yeah.
But the way
So
it was
bad.
shot was so competent and, like, gritty and real. Like, there was some great handheld...
There's a great chase scene in the middle of the film where Johnny Utah, Keanu Reeves' character,
is chasing the bad guy.
chasing the bad guy through, like, these houses and these narrow alleyways.
Yeah, they're like
in Los
hopping
Angeles.
over fences and breaking through people's houses.
And it's really, the
It
camera
feels like
work
you're with them as
was
they're
excellent
chasing.
because it's
Yeah.
like a bunch of handheld photography, but good handheld photography,
not like annoying shaky cam.
not Hunger Games handheld photography.
You were gonna say Hungry Gams
Yeah, I was, but
because
then I
I've said
corrected
that
myself.
so much.
Hunger Games, not annoying Hunger Games photography, but good handheld photography where it actually brings you into the experience instead of bringing you out of the experience.
So very competent filmmaking. I like the
script was cheesy as...
The script was garbage, but the way it was directed was actually kind of nice because the tone was very almost dark and dramatic. Like, it reminded me almost of, like, I don't know. It didn't feel like a movie about a guy chasing a bunch of...
There were a lot of guys in the rain with skin tight suits on.
That was true. There was a little bit of that.
It opened and ended with Keanu Reeves in the rain.
Oh, it's like poetry. It's like he's just right back
It's
to
like
where he
poetry,
started.
they rhyme.
Yeah. But I think the direction it works well in service of the story.
The photography.
The story is not that good. So
the story is garbage.
So someone said to me in film school on the first day, in my script writing class, they said, can anyone name the amount of, can anyone name how many good movies there are with a bad script? And everyone in the classroom was suddenly like open their mouth like, and he said none. There is no such thing as a good movie with a bad script. I might say that Point Break is that.
I will say
because it was entertaining.
It's not a bad script. It's just that the writing is the way they write the characters.
The delivery also doesn't help, and it's not just Keanu Reeves. Like everyone
Keanu
sounds
Reeves
wrong.
is cheesy, but the only one who makes it sound natural is Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze is like really committed to the role. That girl who plays Tank Girl, some of her lines made me like cringe.
I liked
where he's
her,
like,
but she
dude,
wasn't
what's that guy doing? He's catching the ride, man. The ultimate ride. And
so let's move on to that from the very good filmmaking, but I would say the dialogue is bad. The plot and the structure is competent.
But I feel like the movie has like 3 climaxes.
That's true.
Because they keep getting to like another scene where it's like, okay, is it over yet? Okay, is it over yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is it like he comes to a situation where the bad guy narrowly escapes 3 times and then barely catches him the 3rd time.
Yeah, I think that's I get where you're coming from, but my main problem is with the dialogue because boy is it cheesy.
Oh boy, yeah.
It feels very early 90s. You know what? Like in the late 90s, we had Nirvana. We had The Matrix. We had Fight Club, was very existential and dark and like, what is life, man?
There is a little bit of that.
But early 90s was a mixture of like distaste of corporate, it was almost a reaction to the 1980s super greed, but it didn't entirely reject it yet.
Yeah, it hadn't fully formed into anti-authoritarian,
Which
life
means-
is garbage, kind of grunge metal.
There was a certain
Fight Club.
There was an undertone of that in that, but they were the villains.
Yeah, the villains were like, man, society's so screwed up. The only
We're gonna
way to
show them
reject
that we're
evil
truly
corporate
free."
America and stop being the man. It's an interesting character arc that the 90s goes through, where the good guy is the guy in the suit chasing the bad guy who's preaching, and then by the end of the 90s you get a movie where the guy in the suit is the bad guy and the
Both starring
stoner
Keanu Reeves.
and the stoner bum that he's chasing is actually the good guy.
Both starring Keanu Reeves.
Yes, that's true. Actually, that's weird.
It's we go from Point Break to The Matrix.
Yeah. Red Skull. Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, so that's very interesting to think about that in retrospect as almost like a way the cultural zeitgeist changed. Aside from that,
You can track society by what the theme of the Keanu Reeves movie is currently.
the dog doesn't die in the second one, which is good.
That's good. That's very good.
So
that's your review for John Wick 2, is that the dog doesn't die?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. I like that.
and that's basically so Point Break. The lines boy, they cheesy. It's like it's all that like when I'm imagining that these are all like the characters that people. These are what the characters in something like Saved by the Bell, what they idolized. Like that sort of like
My neck
surfer
hurts.
bro. It's all like, dude, and I catched a tube, my first tube today, bro.
Caught my first tube today. Oh, I can't put my surfboard in my car because it's too big and it won't lock the door.
Yeah. So it was kind of weird because this is also it's the transition of Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted to
Being like a lead action man.
lead action man. Whoa. Which he still had a little bit of that goofiness.
Yeah, because this one, he was still, like, kind of transitioning out of the bro phase. So, I always thought it was I didn't know that he was in this movie until we watched it today, actually.
I did.
So I thought the character arc was, I thought that he went from being, I thought that he went straight from Bill and Ted all the way to Neo, and I was like, wow, what a departure
There's
from
a
his
bit of
usual
a
role.
transition there because
This one was the middle phase, and I
Yeah.
like that. It's cool.
I feel like this is, given that it's his most dynamic performance, because he's not just being goofy and he's not just being super serious action man. He's
actually got
a
some,
range.
like, yeah, he has a range of emotions in this one.
which he doesn't have in other movies, to be honest.
In other ones, they always tell him, okay, John, do you think it comes down to directing? Like, do you think he's just always, like, getting saddled with directors who are going... Because, like, the Wachowskis aren't good. I mean, I still like the movie, but there are things that could be better.
Yeah.
Much like Point Break.
So, what do you think could have been better about this movie?
I think they could have, You know what? I think there is a weird disconnect, is because, like, the whole putting on presidential masks and then robbing the banks, like, it just seemed like a different gimmick from what they were doing the rest of the time.
I feel like also they could have tied Lori Petty's character much more into the...
Like, I get the theme.
story.
They're saying, like, the president is robbing you. Like, they're being, hipstery.
Ironic.
They're being ironic, hipstery, bad guy criminals. But they're doing all these, like...
who's the real thief?
Who's the real thief here? It's the man in the suit in the White House, bro. Ho ho! I'm so woke.
I think that the biggest problem with this movie was Lori
but-
Petty's character, because in the movie, Lori Petty is like a surfer girl who works at like a beach cafe, and then she introduces Keanu to this whole world.
It's weird how
surfing.
much they try to pretend like surfer culture is like an important and cool thing, even though it's not
But-
anymore. It's like, look at them, they're like a tribe. You can't just walk in. You gotta earn your way. You gotta become one of them.
So my criticism with this is that I feel like
They're
Lori
surfers.
Petty was very underutilized in this movie, in that she didn't have much to do aside from serving as a plot device.
So what did you
she
think
served
of the...
as a plot device first to introduce Keanu Reeves to this world.
And then never showed up again.
And never showed up again.
As soon as he saves her, she's just gone from the movie.
And then at the end, to provide some dramatic tension, it's like, I'm gonna kill your girlfriend, bro. All that. It just...
And then he saves her, and then they don't talk after that.
I feel like they could have used a lot more, develop her as more of a key component of the plot, or at least given her more character development.
Yeah, well...
Because I feel like Lori Petty wasn't bad in this movie, she just was written poorly.
Was there.
She was
more of a prop.
Exactly, she was...
It seemed more like...
She was a sexy lamp. That's the way you'll put it.
The relationship between Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves was like the focal point of the film. So her being there just distracts. We're actually trying to analyze the script writing in Point Break. Oh my god. Let go of the gun, Johnny! It's the only way this is gonna go, man! How are you gonna grab the parachute? How are you gonna pull the chute if you got the gun? You gotta drop it! You're a fucking psycho, do you know that? And he drops the gun. No! And then Nick Nolte gets shot on the tarmac, and he goes, no! I'm doing a reference to this Rooster Teeth Shorts video where a guy walks, the creator of Arby and the Chief. Yeah, we keep talking about him tonight. The creator of Arby and the Chief walks into the Rooster Teeth studio, and everyone acts like they know who he is, and they're really excited to meet him. He's really happy about it. And then they reveal that they think he's Gary Busey. They go, oh my god, it's Gary Busey! Right? And they keep asking for his autograph. And, talking a bit to him and, trying to be his buddy. And he goes, guys, I'm not Gary Busey. And he pulls up a clip of Gary Busey on YouTube, then shows his face versus the one on the screen. They go, hey, that's right. That's not Gary Busey. It's Nick Nolte. Get the fuck out of here, Nick Nolte. And then they kick him out and then, like make him leave. So every time someone talks about Nick Nolte or Gary Busey, I pretend they're the other one.
Yeah.
You can cut that whole part out. That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
Why don't
you leave
I just
it in.
cut you out of this whole review?
Just edit me out. Edit out my shitty ponytail, because I have to keep my hair up so that...
Let's remind the audience of it once again.
My neck! Ow,
Get a good view of the ponytail.
A little bit more of that. Did you hear that click?
No.
Ow.
So let's sum up.
Hey, I'm working on another cosplay video.
Let's sum up on these whole thoughts. So, great direction, shaky acting, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Keanu Reeves is actually not terrible in this, even though he, by all rights, he should be.
So let's sum up. Lori Petty is bad in this movie because she's given bad dialogue. Keanu Reeves is okay. He's not great, but he's not bad.
Yeah, he's
And
alright.
Patrick Swayze was the best part of the movie in terms of acting.
Patrick Swayze really committed to his dumb character.
He sold this dumb, badass surfer
bro.
who wants to screw the system.
Adrenaline junkie. The ultimate ride, bro. The ultimate ride is suicide.
So I think that
and he dives headfirst into some rocks.
It's very interesting to think about this movie versus the remake, because the remake, I haven't seen it, but from what I've judged from the trailers is that it takes the angle of these people being adrenaline junkies and expands it into them being like extreme sports.
So
who
does
also
it
rob people.
mix in the extreme sports with the heists?
Yes, it does.
Okay, that was something I was going to bring up
That's
earlier.
what I think is the really interesting angle of the remake that kind of justifies its existence.
Because they could have... Was there a Point Break too?
Stop it!
Okay, alright, hey, careful. Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage?
I guess.
Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch Rampage? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want to watch? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll, you want? Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll. Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll. Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll. Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe Boll. Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe. Hey, just so we can make fun of Uwe. Hey, just so we can make fun of. Oh.
The remake, I think, kind of justified its own existence by not only taking the ideas of the first movie, but expanding upon them and making something
like thinking about, okay, what if RoboCop didn't immediately become a full android, you know? Like what if he kept his consciousness but then slowly became more robotic? What if his wife had more of an active role in the plot and tried to save Alex Murphy, you know? I understand that they were trying to create a new direction for the Point Break remake, but I really feel like they fumbled the ball in the third act when, Michael Keaton, of course, the evil corporate businessman, just starts flying around with a bird suit and then tries to kill himself.
I forgot what you were even talking about.
I did too, halfway through that. I'm sorry.
I feel that the remake was interesting, but this movie, I think...
Did you watch the remake?
No, I didn't. I just watched the trailer.
Okay, so the premise of the remake was interesting. Let's clarify.
Yeah, the premise of the remake. I don't know about the delivery. I heard that it's bad, but that's just what I've...
I mean, everyone thinks everything's bad these days. When a Star Wars movie is universally hated after it comes out, not 10 years later, you gotta know something's going on.
So I might watch the remake. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Luke Bracey. I think he's a terrible actorman. But I'm curious to see what they would do differently.
Yeah.
And I think that they justify their own existence in terms of the ideas, not the execution.
Do you think they have, do you think they're,
Which is the difference between the original and the remake.
Yeah.
I just came up with this. The original had pretty crap ideas. Surfer bros who rob banks and screw the system, that's really dumb. Terrible writing.
Okay, that's
but
dumb.
The delivery, the execution, the way that Catherine Bigelow directed this movie made it as good as it is.
Yeah.
Versus the remake, which had really interesting ideas and a different take on the same premise, but the execution, not as good.
Can you cut out the part where I almost said that's gay? Giz. I mean, the movie is kinda, because there's a lot of scenes of shirtless dudes.
We were making jokes about how homoerotic this movie is at the beginning, in case you didn't pick up.
I don't want to offend anyone. Please cut that part out.
Listen, you were on the podcast asking if you can be a lesbian. If anybody's offended by you, it's happened already.
I'm not proud of what I am. I just want everyone to know that.
Yes, I'm the respectful one. The one who gets everybody angry on Twitter about Spider-Man is the less controversial of the two of us.
You know, I kind of get away with saying a lot of horrible shit.
Yeah,
like, you say one crack about a video game company and your ass is grass for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I have said my most popular video on YouTube, I had a 9/11 joke and no one brought it up. Ever.
You make so many terrible jokes.
Really off-color humor.
Off-color, really risque
There's
jokes.
a lot of people I really respect who watch my videos. Like Chris Baker. He's a guy who works on... He's a video game developer and games journalist. There's also Chris Piers who does the Comics Tropes series. Those guys are like a lot older than I am, and they're a lot more toned down. So I always worry when they watch my videos, because I'm like, do they, hear what I say, and are they okay with it? Because, boy, am I... If I had to think of... Let's say I'm not a PC, I'm a Mac when it comes to my dialogue, you know what I'm saying? So... I hope they don't hear me say these terrible, terrible things and go, I can't follow him on... I don't look at you and have the word straight come to mind, sir.
Ayo!
Ayo! Sick burn!
With that burn...
That was another gay joke! I'm so sorry!
That's the theme of this review, is gay jokes.
I'm so sorry.
So, if you're
I'm
gay...
so sorry.
Hey, I have a challenge for you. If you're watching us, and you are gay, we appreciate your viewership.
Yeah, you're cool.
But watch Point Break, and tell us if you see it too.
Tell us if you don't see... Tell us if you got halfway up at any point in the movie. I'm pretty straight.
Enjoy...
Can I take out this fucking ponytail? Yeah, it hurts so bad. Oh, my life.
Swing your head around again. And I'm just gonna slow that down and play, Careless Whisper over that.
I want to die.
So do we all.
Oh,
So do we
I
all.
think I can move now. Can you feel my webs? Do they feel dry? Versus the ones on the front?
They're about... The ones on the front are a lot drier, but they're more solid now.
Oh, okay, cool. All right,
So
I
we'll
can move
see you
around.
next time.
See you next
Goodbye.
time, folks.